Howdy, folks, and welcome to Black Hat Bitcoin. I appreciate you being here. If you're new here, I basically share at Black Hat Bitcoin fundamentals of Bitcoin, how it works, what it is, why it's so important. And today I am going to talk about my latest newsletter, which you can find at blackhatbitcoin.substack.com. And it is entitled Bitcoin's Unique Properties, Part 1. Alrighty, let's jump right in here. So Bitcoin can be challenging and complex to understand. You can dive incredibly deep on the topic and still feel like you're just touching the surface because it touches on philosophy and technology and economics and finance and a number of disciplines. So what I'm trying to do here is break it down into what are the things about Bitcoin that make it unique and distinct from traditional currency, and why is that so important? We're going to actually dive into each of these properties in later videos and later newsletters in more detail, but I want to give you sort of a flavor. And today we're talking about 4 of 7, I think, that I'm going to go through, and these 4 are sort of why Bitcoin is good for anyone and everyone as money. And then next time we'll talk about a few attributes of Bitcoin that are important, but more specifically important for those who are unbanked or financially less privileged, refugees, folks in maybe politically more tumultuous environments, that sort of thing. So we'll talk about that next time. Today, let's just jump right in here and talk about the first 4 of Bitcoin's unique attributes. Alrighty, first of all, Bitcoin is decentralized. I've mentioned this before in a previous article. You're going to hear this a lot from anyone in the Bitcoin space, but effectively, there's no CEO of Bitcoin. There's no board of directors. There's no government agency that governs it. No single person or entity can manage, control, or manipulate Bitcoin. And for a number of reasons that we can discuss, and again, in future newsletters and videos, that is crucial to how it operates and why it works so effectively. Number 2, Bitcoin is predictable. So we know that there are only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. We know approximately the year 2140-ish that the last Bitcoin will be mined. We know that every 210,000 blocks of transactions that are added to the ledger, the amount of rewards, mining rewards that go to Bitcoin miners producing these blocks are cut in half. So you see a gradual decrease in the flow of new Bitcoin into the marketplace. We know all these things about Bitcoin. It's highly predictable. You can look at the code yourself if you want to. It's open source. You can see exactly what's going to happen. And you contrast that with our current fiat environment where we don't know how much money is actually in the system. And there are a number of ways they define that. We don't know how much more they're going to print or when they're going to ease their printing and raise interest rates or manipulate interest rates in any number of ways. And so the transparency we have and the ability to anticipate what's coming with Bitcoin is on a completely it's a completely different level than what we currently experience, and that is important for businesses and individuals, everyone, in their ability to plan for the future. Number 3, Bitcoin is scarce. As I mentioned, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in circulation, and this is where it's sort of analogous to gold. Gold is not absolutely scarce the way that Bitcoin is, but the reason gold's retained its buying power over millennia is because it can't be created in a lab. It's very expensive to introduce more gold to the marketplace. You have to put in physical work. You have to go through the process of actually mining it and finding a buyer, and for that reason, it's preserved its buying power over a long period of time. Bitcoin is the same, except it does have absolute scarcity. So the flow of new Bitcoin entering the marketplace is already under 2%, so even less than gold typically, which is about 2%. And moving forward, we know that eventually there will be no more Bitcoin created. There will presumably always be some amount of gold being mined for any foreseeable future. And so Bitcoin's scarcity inherently increases its value as more and more people adopt it as a standard, and it is sort of the numerator over an infinitely large number of goods and services. And finally, number 4, Bitcoin is immutable. So when we add a transaction to a block, or the block is added to the ledger, that block is permanent. There's no way, without reaching consensus amongst node operators, which we'll get into later, which are just individuals or businesses. It's a very, again, decentralized format. There's no way to undo that. You can't tamper with this ledger that has been created to host, the Bitcoin transactions as they come in. And this ensures security and reliability of the network. It makes it tamper proof. It's a very important quality that can't be said of any monetary system around the world at the national level today. So again, Bitcoin is decentralized, it is predictable, it's scarce, it's immutable. Those are 4 crucial properties that it possesses that no other monetary system does. But those are just the big reasons why anyone and everyone should view Bitcoin as better money. There are a few reasons, again, that we're going to touch on next time that are important for everyone, because our world is, and the freedoms that many of us experience and have are not guaranteed. But today, there are many people who are political enemies of their state, who are wrongly persecuted, who are refugees, who are poor and unbanked. And we're going to touch on a few of the properties of Bitcoin that are, again, unique to Bitcoin, that enable those people, empower those people, and help them out of the situations in which they find themselves. So stay tuned for that. And I appreciate you being here as always. Look forward to sharing more with you next time. If you could check out my newsletter, blackhatbitcoin.substack.com. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to my newsletter if you're interested. I appreciate all the support. Give me a like, a comment. Share it with friends or family that you think might need to learn more about this awesome technology known as Bitcoin. Cheers, and we'll be back in touch soon.